Welcome to my trip around the world. Those of you who know me know that I love to travel, and circumnavigating the world in one direction has always been a bucket list thing for me. There's a few definitions out there of circumnavigation, and the one that seemed to fit the best was that I had to cross the equator and complete a distance of at least the Tropic of Cancer or Tropic of Capricorn, which is just under 37,000 kilometers or 23,000 miles. My flights alone, without including any adventures on land that I went on, would end up being about 800 miles longer than that, so we'll call it an official circumnavigation. Anyway, hope you enjoy the trip. Hey friends, I'm here in the Polaris Lounge in Newark Airport. I thought it might be fun to put together a little travel journal here on this trip that I'm taking by myself. It's gonna be a long week. This is either gonna be the coolest thing I've ever done or the stupidest thing I've ever done. It will be one of those. I have my jet lag the game hat signed by Adam Chase in honor of all of the absolutely insane jet lag that I am gonna have over the next week. I figure I'll record a few videos here and there and just kind of do a little journal of all the cool places I'm going. Stitch together a little video for myself and family to check out what I've been up to. So here's a plane. It's not my plane. It's going to Barcelona. I'm not going to Barcelona, but I am here in the lounge. Just had my food and a little apple cider without any alcohol in it, believe it or not. Today I just had apple cider. And anyway, having a snack before the flight, which leaves in about an hour. And it's gonna be the longest flight I've ever been on, so I'll see you sometime after that. Give you some videos along the way. After resting up and snacking up in the lounge, time to head over to the gate for the first flight. Now, this flight was advertised as being 14 hours and 40 minutes, which, like I said in the last clip, is the longest I've ever been on. All the way to Johannesburg, South Africa. Now, fortunately, I managed to get business class on all of my long flights on this trip, and I think this trip would have been way too much of a struggle without it, especially since 3 of my overnights were going to be on a plane. I'm going to be struggling to get sleep as it is, so being able to at least doze comfortably for a few hours on these flights was going to be pretty important to actually enjoying the journey. So, after a nice little pre-flight champagne beverage, we are on our way. Just had dinner, some braised short rib. I had an ice cream sundae, which is outstanding. It's like a hot chocolate, a frozen hot chocolate ice cream sundae. Watching a movie, which is Die Hard. Never seen Die Hard. Verdict on Die Hard is absolutely a Christmas movie. I don't even know why there's a doubt that this is a Christmas movie. Why there's a debate on that. Clearly a Christmas movie. But gonna have my ice cream sundae. Gonna enjoy that. Gonna enjoy the 13 more hours that I have. I'm gonna go to sleep as much as I can. The plan for tomorrow when I get to Johannesburg, it's gonna be like 6 p.m. There's a cricket match downtown that's starting at 5:30. I should be able to get to the last third of the match if I get there, get the rental car time. From there, going over to the hotel, dropping off my stuff at the hotel, and it's like right across the street from the cricket match. So I bought my ticket. It was $6. So my only worry on the cricket match is it might get rained out. If it gets rained out, I get a refund of my $7. So not really a big deal, but yeah, it should be a good day. It's gonna be late when I get there, so I'm not expecting to be able to sleep. Since I'm going to sleep, wake up, and it's going to be 6 p.m. So we'll do the best we can when we get there. But otherwise, sitting in seat 1A here in business class, watching Die Hard, having my ice cream sundae. Going to go to sleep after that, and see you on the other side of the world. Cool thing about my flight to Johannesburg was that we just about clipped the coasts of Guinea-Bissau, Sierra Leone, and Liberia in West Africa. Now, I had to persuade the flight attendants to unlock the digital window shades on the new 787, but they did it for me, and I managed to catch a glimpse. Now, fortunately, after this, I did manage to doze off for a few hours, and when I woke up, this is what greeted me down in southern Africa. Good morning. It's very much afternoon where I am. It's something like 9 a.m. back home, and it's like 3 p.m. here. I am over Africa, finally. We have made it to Namibia, and it is some kind of wild desert landscape. It's so cool. The mountains here are cool, but back there were some kind of weird formations in the mountains that were pretty incredible. Yeah, I'm a big desert guy, personally, as many of you are aware. I love Arizona. And this is definitely the desert. So we're over Namibia. We are go over the Kalahari Desert pretty soon, which is this kind of inner part that's more over Botswana. Well, almost there, hour and 43 minutes away. So it'll be Namibia, Botswana, and then South Africa, and then we land. Folks, we made it. We are in Johannesburg, and immigration took all of 3 seconds. I was like the second person in line. That was really good because I want to get my rental car as quick as I can so that I can try and go to the cricket match. If the cricket match isn't rained out, there was some thunderstorms coming in, and it's supposed to be some pretty good thunderstorms this afternoon. But yeah, it was a great flight. Got some sleep, got some good food, don't feel hungry or anything. Immigration took no time, which was really, really good. And now, yeah, we're gonna get that rental car. I actually want to stop at the United counter first. I forgot to print down my boarding pass in Newark. I kind of want to keep it and maybe do a little scrapbooking for this trip. So, yeah, that's the plan right now. Check in later. All right, well, good news and bad news. The good news is that the rental car is the cleanest car you'll ever see in your life, because I have never seen rain like I saw from the airport to my hotel. That was nuts. There were people stopping under bridges and stuff. It's crazy. So car's clean, but cricket match was either postponed or finished early. I don't know which, but either way, there's no more cricket happening. So sadly, I cannot see the cricket. The cricket stadium is like right out of my window here. Not those. Those are some parking lot or something, but those ones on the left, that's the cricket stadium. It was a short walk to get over there, but I didn't end up going over there because it's pouring rain, and everybody on the way back was saying, yeah, the game was called. So that's too bad, but that's kind of a blessing in disguise, because tomorrow morning I'm waking up very early to go drive to Pilanesburg National Park for a safari, and I'll get a little more sleep. And I'll get to eat something and get more sleep because I won't be going to that cricket match. So that's all right. That's fine. And looking forward to sleeping because it's been a very, very long 2 days, something like that. So I'm going to eat, I'm going to sleep, and the next time I see you, we'll probably be in a car out in the middle of nowhere. One fun little interlude here. I love watching foreign TV when I'm traveling, and this show is wild. It's called Nikiwe, and it's a good thing there were subtitles because I definitely don't understand a word of Zulu. I didn't get to see enough to get the gist of what was going on, but I do know this girl and this guy are seeing each other on the sly, and their family finally seems to have caught on, and oh, we've got drama. Up bright and early the next morning for the drive to Pilanesburg. And odd as it may seem, it's only 5:45 in the morning here. The perks of summer in January. Good morning from South Africa. It is time to go on a safari. It is a very nice morning at my very, very nice hotel. Really enjoyed it here. It's right next to a bowls club, which is pretty cool. I would have enjoyed that if I could have done that. But no, it's going to be a busy day. It's going to be about 2 hours and 2:40 or so to get to Pilanesburg National Park, where I'm going to do a little self-drive safari in my in my SUV-ish rental car. Apparently I don't need four-wheel drive or anything. It's supposedly pretty well paved and everything in there. It's one of their smaller national parks, so that'll be good. And yeah, we're gonna go get some breakfast somewhere, see if we can get some local snacks somewhere, and then just drive through the countryside to go see some animals. So that's what we're doing today. And also, they drive on the wrong side of the road here, and I keep going into the passenger side. All right, we're making our first trip to the snack zone here. We've got some sausage rolls. Those look pretty good. We got a lunch bar, candy bar from Cadbury. Never seen that before, but looks pretty good, so I figured I'd grab that. Kingsley Granadilla flavored drink. They had a lot of this particular brand, but this was the only thing that I had no idea what the flavor was. Granadilla? I don't know. And then the absolute star of the show here, Simba brand potato chips on the nose and KFC flavored. So I'm pretty excited about that. That's gonna be my snack on the way to the safari. Basically, I'm at a pretty cool little. It's just everything just looks nice. A lot of kids here waiting for the bus. Looks like, but the countryside's beautiful. It's very green, a lot more green than I expected. Got some palm trees here. All right, we got about 2 hours more driving to do, so let's get on the road. Driving through South Africa was very nice for the most part, but there was a lot of poverty too, which was obviously very sad. One of the nicer parts of the ride was listening to the morning show on the radio station I was listening to, Anele and the Club on 94.7, so shout out to them. But at last, after a long drive, I finally made it to Pilanesburg, where I filled out some paperwork at the gate before driving on in. Just got to the national park. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning. Got a nice early start. Took me like 2.5 hours or so to get here. I'm recording myself while I'm driving because I'm going like 10 kilometers an hour on a dirt road, so I don't think I'm that much of a danger. Although, wow, it's pretty rough and scraggly right here. Yeah, I love that. But yeah, saw some horned animals on the way in at one of the watering holes already. I don't know if they were antelope or something. I'll probably sound like an idiot saying they're antelope, and they're probably something not even close to antelope. But yeah, I found some of them. I'm going to one of the hides where you can get out of your car and go up into this little structure that overlooks a watering hole, and seeing what I can find in there. Gonna hop over to those throughout the day. That's basically the plan. There's probably like 5 or 6 or 7 of those in here. Not a huge national park, but it's definitely got some cool places to see the animals. Those hides are probably the best way to go. So looking to see what I can find at those hides. I got about 5 hours, so we'll see what I can see in that time. I drove into the park for 10 minutes or so, seeing no animals in the gorgeous landscape, but it didn't take long before I got one heck of an encounter with one of the big 5. Well, that's pretty sick. I'm pretty sure that's a freaking rhino. Just walking around, like, living his life. Look at this guy. You kidding me? Just chilling, enjoying his day. Holy crap. Bro, you are definitely on my road. I'm gonna need to go that way. If you could kindly step aside. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. By and large, that was my experience throughout the day. I'd drive for maybe 15-20 minutes or so and not see anything at all. And then I'd turn a corner and there'd be some antelope. Or some zebras. And even a baby zebra. Look at that little guy. Or some other big guy standing directly along the edge of the road. This is just ridiculous. I know, you agree. Enjoying your tree snack? Seems like it's pretty tasty. Yeah. All right, well, we made it to our first hide. This is what it looks like. I just heard something. But this is what the hide looks like. Got these buildings here where you can come in and just wait around at these water animals, see what you can see. Honestly, it's just gorgeous over here. The people who were just in here as I walked in said they saw elephants playing in the water for like the last half hour. And they just left and went around this corner here as they were leaving. So that's a little sad that I just missed them. But, you know, they might come back. We'll see. Unfortunately, those elephants didn't come back. I expected the hides to be where I saw most of the animals, but I had a lot more luck driving along the roads in the park. I think if I had more time to just sit for an hour or so and wait it out more, I would have seen more than I did, but as was a common theme on this trip, I didn't have as much time as I'd have liked, so I had to keep moving. This is not a drill. We have elephants, including definitely some baby elephants. Look at the little guys! This was probably the coolest sighting of the drive. I was so worried I wasn't going to get to see any elephants at all, and got to see this whole herd with some little ones. This is just the coolest thing in the world. At this point, it's been a few hours, and I was about as far into the park as I'd get, so I started making my way in the general direction of the exit. I had a few great sightings, though, on my hour or so drive toward the exit. First, there were these hippos, which I was very excited to see. Probably as excited as I was to see the elephants, as these big old lumbering water tanks are some of my favorite animals. Then I saw this mama rhino and her baby happily hopping along. The mama was keeping a pretty close eye on me, and since they were coming in my general direction, I left before they started thinking I was a problem. Then lastly, right at the exit gate, I saw a ton of monkeys, including yet another baby, which was a very cool goodbye to the park. Right at the exit, there were some vendors selling some trinkets, so I had some fun negotiating with them and bought a couple souvenirs for way more than I should have spent, and hit the road. What a day. What a good day. Finished my safari and got on the road. I had a few hours till I have to get back for my flight, so I stopped at the mall here in Rustenburg, South Africa, because a few weeks ago I emailed them to see if I can get a Harry Potter book in Afrikaans, and lo and behold, they have it. They put it aside for me, the 5th book, so that Alex and I are closer to getting 3 complete sets of Harry Potter books. So that's pretty cool. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to find one in Afrikaans easily, because they speak like a ton of different languages in this country, and Afrikaans isn't even the top one non-English. I think Zulu is, but they don't make a Zulu Harry Potter. But yeah, found my book, very happy. And very nice folks at the bookstore also exchanged coins for me for a 20 Rand bill, which was exciting to me because usually when I ask people if I can get coins, they look at me like I have 8 heads. But the nice young folks at the register there picked up exactly what I was putting down and gave me all of the individual South African coins for my collection to bring home. So that's pretty cool. So now I got probably like 40 minutes before, well, maybe even like an hour before I really got to leave to head back to the airport, which is about 2 hours away, for my flight out to somewhere. We will see. I think to eat, I'm gonna go to this place called Steers in the mall. I have absolutely no idea what they sell, except they have famous hand-cut chips that they're advertising. It's probably some kind of burger place. I have no idea. We're gonna find out together. All right, folks, welcome back to the snack zone here at Steers at the Waterfall Mall. I was right, it is a burger place. My burger has pineapple on it, apparently. I got the Mjojo burger meal. at the recommendation of the guy at the counter. It's got some bacon on it, which looks more like a Canadian bacon kind of situation, but looks good. It's got some pineapple, which I'm excited about, and then the fries that they were advertising on the wall are banging. I had one of these already, and they're like extremely salty, so I give that a big thumbs up. And then for the beverage, a Stony ginger beer. They got ginger beer all over the place here, so big fan of that. So this is the snack zone entry for today's lunch/dinner. I'm going to try and slam this down in a reasonably quick manner and head back to Johannesburg Airport. All right, we're back at the airport. We just dropped the rental car off. Nice little drive. It was actually kind of a long drive. It was like 3 hours back from the national park. Starting to get a little tired, starting to get a little jet lagged. But yeah, got the rental car dropped off, and the attendant was like, so we're gonna have to wash and check this car because it's so muddy they can't actually see if there's damage. So I was like, no, I get it. That makes sense to me. So they're gonna, it was just very muddy from the from the safari. But yeah, we are rolling into the airport here, into the terminal, international terminal here. And we're gonna go check in to another flight and fly somewhere else. All right, we made it through security, made it through passport control. Actually going through security, I have my giant like 64-ounce water bottle that I had 2/3 full that I had to drink, and the South African security lady was like, it was pretty funny. But I drank all that, which is good because it got really hot really fast. It's very humid here. Going somewhere on this departure board pretty soon. Definitely not going to the one that's indefinitely delayed, Nairobi. That's too bad for them. But yeah. Gonna go over to my gate and fly somewhere else. Next stop, Dubai. Yeah, I'd say this will do nicely. Alright, let's check in. It has been a absolutely insane 24 hours. It was almost exactly 24 hours that I was in Johannesburg. Safari was totally worth the time. That was incredible, but it was a very busy day, and I'm very happy to be in business class once again for this flight to Dubai, United Arab Emirates. So it's about 8 hours. I should be able to get a decent amount of sleep. I'm gonna eat first. And I'm also going to spend like an hour going through all the pictures and video from the safari to put on the Facebook album. And then there's one thing that I have to show you guys on this plane, which is absolutely insane. Wait till you see this. Alright, you want to see the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen on an airplane in my life? This airplane has an entire bar and lounge. Never seen anything like this in my entire life. I mean, I can literally just kind of chill here on a couch and have a drink if I want. It's pretty ridiculous. But yeah, I think it's time to go to sleep after I eat. This baggage claim law is simply outrageous. Look at this. We got like Doric columns or something in here. It's like the whole room. There's like dozens of them. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. Well, welcome to Dubai. You may be able to hear Somebody's doing a call to prayer, I believe, in the background. So that's pretty cool. I'm only here for like 6 hours. Actually, it's more like 5.5 now. So my only real plan while I'm here is to go just see the Burj Khalifa from the outside. I think that'd be cool. And then I also have plans to get an Arabic Harry Potter book. And that's really it. That's kind of all I have time for. Then I'll come back and go to the next place. But in the meantime, we'll get some cool local shots of Dubai while we're here.
المحطة القادمة هي Jijiko. The next station is Jijiko.
Okay. We are on the Dubai Metro, and we're in gold class, which is like a special car on the Metro, which if you get your card, you pay like double, and you get just like a private car with a lot fewer people in it. There's nobody in it right now, and it's pretty nice. You like, get your own car, and you can see out the front, which is, pretty cool. It costs double, which, I mean, it's like $11 including the gold class. So I figured, why not? I'm in Dubai. I'm on vacation. Whatever. So yeah, we're going into the city and gonna go check out the tallest building in the world.
المحطة القادمة هي اتحاد، وهي محطة انتقالية بين خطي الأحمر والأخضر لمترو دبي. The next station is Union. This is interchange station between Dubai Metro red and green lines. المحطة القادمة هي المركز التجاري العالمي. The next station is World Trade Center.
Everything in this city is so ridiculously extra. This mall is absurd. There's a Rolex store, and there's a Dolce & Gabbana store, and a Gucci store. Obviously that's normal, but it's just the sheer opulence of everything. This is a mall, so whatever. But the walkways outside had polished granite, and that's not even up to the mall. That was just regular walkways. This whole city looks like it's the Cloud City or the Star Wars capital planet thing, where it's just everything is hyper modern and hyper city like. It's pretty nuts. Holy crap. Oh, there's the tallest building in the world. Wow, this is nuts over here. This is incredibly, incredibly cool. There's the UAE flag over here. And just this gigantic fountain, which the fountains don't start until like 11:30 or something. But man, that building just keeps going. I mean, this is just really, really cool. There's no other way to really describe it other than it's just freaking sick. Obviously, there's some problematic things about this city, but I mean, that's still really cool. Honestly, this whole area is just pretty sweet to begin with. This was definitely worth the walk over here. At this point, I hopped on a city bus and made my way to the only bookstore I could find that opened early enough for me to get my Arabic Harry Potter and still make it back to the airport in time. It was a nice ride because it took me out of the super glitzy, shiny downtown and into a much more normal part of the city, which I liked. I rode past a couple mosques and shops before I made it to the bookstore in Jumeirah, a really nice part of town, and headed back to the airport. Mission successful in Dubai. Got a little time crunch there just with buses getting delayed, but honestly, it wasn't all that bad. I got here with 90 minutes before the flight. With business class, that's plenty. It is one hell of a departure board. Probably the most fascinating list of destinations I think I've ever seen. I am going to one of them. I'm going to one of these too, but I don't think anybody can read that. Maybe some of you can. That would be impressive. But nonetheless, we're on our way. And I'm looking forward to another round of business class because I really need a nap. So the final verdict on Dubai, I have to say, was usually a city is a city to me. But this was cool enough and different enough that I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. And I wish I had more time. I wish I had more time to like eat some local food, get some tea or something. I would have enjoyed that, but I just really didn't have the time. The city is just, it's crazy how, like, you know, downtown is like insanity, modern and everything. Outside of the downtown, like central business district, it was still cool in a like less plasticky kind of way. Like it reminded me of like Newtown, Marrakesh, where Alex and I have been before. And in a good way, it was nice, but it wasn't like overly like glitzed up. So yeah, it was cool. I wish I had a little more time, and glad I came, glad I stopped, glad I went out. Good grief. I think I had to walk like a mile to get to this gate, but finally here, finally made it. And folks, I will see you all in Beijing. Now, when I originally planned this trip, I was going to fly straight from Johannesburg to Singapore, spend a day there, and then continue on to Seoul. But after visiting Epcot in December and going on soaring around the world, I got it in my head that I had to find a way to go to the Great Wall of China. So after moving around a few things, I figured out a way to make it work by shortening South Africa by a night, swapping out Singapore, and heading to Beijing instead with the layover in Dubai. One of the unintended perks of this was that I got to fly over Iran. It's the country at the very top of my travel bucket list, but for now I at least got to see it with my own eyes for the first time. With my day starting with an overnight flight from Joburg where I only got 2 hours of sleep, and then my mad dash through Dubai, I needed a nap so very badly. Fortunately, 8 more hours in business class helped out with that a lot. I made it to China. Got a good amount of sleep on that flight too, at least a few hours. That was a nice nap. And came in and went through immigration to get my temporary entry permit. And the lady at immigration was super sweet. She was very, very nice. She was very excited. She was like, "Oh, we have the same birthday." I was like, "Oh, cool." So that was nice. Yeah, she was nice. Good first impression for China. And now this is my first time I actually have to go to baggage claim. All my other flights I did carry on. But because I had the long layover in Dubai, I checked my bag, you know, as one does. So I'm gonna get my bag, and then my hotel is pretty much attached to the airport. It's already almost 11 o'clock, I think, p.m. So I'm looking forward to getting a real night's sleep. I'm looking forward to changing out of these clothes, and I'm really looking forward to shaving. That's gonna be nice. Can't wait to go to bed. A real bed, a shower, a shave, and a change of clothes. Thank God. Well, it took a little while for me to get a car up to the Great Wall because the app that China uses for Uber wasn't taking my credit card. But that's okay. The hotel called me a cab, so that was very nice of them. And it shouldn't cost much more at all to use a cab. It sounds like it shouldn't be like $20, $25, I think, to get up there for, it takes like a little over an hour to get there. So that's pretty good. But I'm on the road. Finally, very excited to go up to the Great Wall. Extremely tired. I only got like 4 hours of sleep last night. My driver's name is Jung Chow. He's very nice, and he's going to bring me up there, and I'm going to see the Great Wall, and I'm going to hopefully stay awake all day. In the meantime, here's the sunrise in China as I make my way up to the Great Wall. I don't know if you could tell on that last clip, but this was far and away the worst I felt over the course of the whole trip. It was a combination of the lack of sleep, plus the jet lag, Plus, I was getting an awful headache from looking at my phone in the back of the cab. I gotta be honest, it was a really, really brutal morning. All right, definitely an adventure to get here. But yeah, got a cab driver. He's very, very nice. And I paid him some extra, so he'll bring me back to Beijing and wait around for a few hours, which is very nice of him. And Mutianyu is a pretty cool little place here. There's some little shops for souvenirs and whatnot, and some Chinese New Year stuff. And if you look up there, you can see the Great Wall, which is pretty sweet. So I'm gonna go get the shuttle bus. I got my ticket already. Shuttle bus up to, there's like a cable car or something that takes you up there, and then gonna walk around and check it out. And I have to say that the sleep is definitely catching up to me. I'm exhausted. Looking at my phone in the back of the cab didn't help, but I was definitely starting to feel nauseous. And I don't think it was just motion sickness. I think it's also the fact that I'm running on like no sleep. But I think being out and walking around in the cold and just moving around is going to help me a lot. It's nice, like, being out of the city. It's a touristy area, obviously, but it's cool. There's a lot of Chinese New Year stuff going on. Like, this tree's got these little things hanging off it, and I saw those on like street posts and stuff on the way here too. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun time.
这就是再走到上面，那太远。哎，那吴佳呀，这个好好打球，你只能捡到吗？
Well, there's no doubt about it. This is pretty special. I spent about an hour up at the Great Wall, but with how far you're able to walk, I could have been there way longer than that if I had the whole day. But I had some things I wanted to do in downtown Beijing, so after one last look at one of the world's greatest wonders, I started the trip back on the cable car and shuttle bus to Mutianyu, where Zheng Chao was waiting for me with his cab. There was a ton of traffic on the way back, so it took nearly 2 hours to get downtown. But time-wise at this point, I was still in pretty good shape. Back in downtown Beijing, and I'm feeling like a wreck with the lack of sleep. But we're pressing on. We're pressing on. I'm a short walk away from the Forbidden City. It's like 1:30 p.m. or so. My flight's at 7, so I should have a little bit of time to hop into the Forbidden City, kind of make a quick visit of it, maybe like 30, 45, 60 minutes or so. And then I'm gonna get something to eat, which I desperately need. Then I'm gonna try and find a Harry Potter book and Pokemon cards in Chinese, which Harry Potter book should be easy. Pokemon cards might be difficult, but I've got a kind of a lead on that, so I'm gonna give that a shot. But I'm gonna navigate these crowds and get to the Forbidden City. Yeah, it was pretty busy around the Forbidden City, but no worse than any other big tourist attraction I've been to. Also, there were a lot of street vendors selling some really interesting and tasty looking snacks, which I wish I could have bought. And this is not the last time you'll hear me talk about food today. Absolutely relieved to be here. I wasn't sure how the ticket process worked, but everything I did was right, so that was nice. And yeah, I am at the Forbidden City. So I'm gonna kind of breeze through faster than I want to, but I'm at least here, and I'm happy to be here. And it's very beautiful. It's very cool. All the girls are like wearing traditional clothes, which I wasn't expecting. This guy over here looks dapper as hell with his girl. So I guess that's the thing. I guess everybody, or a lot of people, dress in traditional clothes when they come here. So that's very cool. Very cool.
每2、3美国时期的时候，天牛星的地点，它呢在地面上在转圈。
Well, that was quick but fun. Breezed through there. It's pretty crowded, but nothing like egregious. I think it gets a lot more crowded than that. In fact, it's their low season right now. Walking along this cool walkway. A lot of these things are like everywhere in various sizes, like see they're on the street poles up here. I'm pretty sure that's a Chinese New Year thing. And yeah, they all look nice. I have like a 3/4 of a mile walk to this place where I found that I think I'm gonna want to eat. And I think it's gonna be next door to a place that reportedly may sell Chinese Pokemon cards. We shall see. All right, good news and bad news. The bad news is that the place that I think may have Pokemon cards in Chinese is like 1.25 miles further away than I thought it was, which isn't great. But the good news is I do know where it is now, because my original problem was that I didn't actually know where it was. I had a map in Chinese that had a dot on it, but I wasn't actually sure exactly which intersection it was. Anyway, I was walking and didn't see where I thought it was. Asked these 2 Chinese young men who spoke amazing English. They're like the first people I've come across who speak English. And they were incredibly helpful, very nice. Pulled up their Chinese map instead of Google Maps, found where it is on there, and then found it on my Google Maps so I could navigate to it. Just another example of phenomenal people here in China who have been very friendly and very helpful. So now I've got another 1.25 miles to walk, but I at least have a destination in mind. I think I enjoyed walking through Beijing as much as I enjoyed anything on this trip. Aside from just the fun of interacting with a few of the locals while asking for directions, as you can see, the architecture is really distinct and interesting. And as you might guess by all the times I say, oh, I'm going to eat soon, seeing and smelling all the street food while I was still on an empty stomach was just making me even hungrier. Oh my god, I can't believe it, but it's actually here. So hopefully they have Pokemon cards, otherwise I just walked like 2 miles for nothing. But I'm very optimistic. They have Lorcana cards on the door in Chinese, and Alex is going to be really excited about that when she finds out that I'm getting those for her too. Oh my god. Not only is it here, but they had Pokemon cards. I'm really excited about that. I was really, didn't have high hopes about that. But shout out to the person on Reddit who mentioned this place in a really random post a year ago. And shout out to those Chinese guys who helped me find this place, because wow, that place is freaking awesome. They have walls of like individual Pokemon cards, stacks of Pokemon cards and other card decks, and there's people playing TCG games in there too. So that was awesome. That was an incredibly worthwhile stop. Okay, so I still haven't eaten. That is falling by the wayside because I need to get my shopping done. Eating can come later. But yeah, got my Pokemon cards, which I think was going to be the hardest thing. I thought there was a bookstore near it, but there wasn't. Fortunately, more very nice people. This group of 3 girls, actually 4 girls, I was asking them if they could help me find a bookstore, and they told me where there is one. A big one, so that we're sure they have Harry Potter. And that's where I'm going right now. Now I'm cutting it, if I was taking the subway back to the airport, closer than I'd want, but I think I'm gonna do I'm just gonna do a cab back to the airport, not take any chances. We're almost done. I'll eat at the airport. Well, we're definitely in the right place. Now we're just gonna find the actual books. They're definitely here somewhere. This is getting chaotic. It's about 4:15. My flight's at 7. I need to get back to my hotel to get the bag that I left at the hotel. And I got the Harry Potter book, so that's good. All of my shopping's done. Haven't eaten still, but that's okay. I was trying to find a taxi, couldn't find a taxi, went into a hotel that was near the bookstore and asked them if they could get me a car, and they did. They ordered me one because everybody's gone out of their way to help me today because the city is fantastic and the people in it are amazing. So she called me a car. It's coming in 10 minutes. All should be pretty good. I shouldn't be cutting it too close to the airport. So we're moving right along. I would like to eat though, and I would like to sleep even more. All right, well, through security, through immigration, and I tell you what, if I had to check this bag, it would have been pretty hairy. Fortunately, I didn't. I got to skip a pretty large line in order to just go get my boarding pass from a special counter, so that was good. I've got about 20 minutes till my flight boards, about 50 till it leaves, and it is 6:10 p.m. and I have not eaten all day. And if I don't eat, I'm gonna die. I desperately want some Chinese food. I've walked around the city all day smelling Chinese food everywhere I go, and it smells amazing. So I think I found some Chinese food. Thank God, because I really need to eat something. I got my food. Okay, another really long walk to a gate. I'm probably gonna have to eat my food on the plane, but let's get the heck out of here. Incredibly long day running on complete exhaustion and no food, but still probably my favorite day of the trip. I made up for the lack of food in a big way on this flight, my first leg in economy so far. First up, my airport Chinese food, which was so good. Pineapple sweet and sour pork with white rice, which more than hit the spot. Then very unexpectedly, we got served a full meal on this little 2-hour flight. A really good peppered beef, a cup of yogurt, a piece of bread, a bizarre but really good jello-like dessert with chocolate on top. And this red packet was some kind of pickled onion that even the Chinese guy next to me took one whiff of and was like, nah. I think the most interesting thing I discovered about the jam-packed, time-crunch days that I had on this trip, and obviously most notably in Beijing, was that if I didn't specifically set aside time and prioritize eating, it was the first thing that fell by the wayside. I kept saying, oh, I'm gonna do this and then I'll eat. Then I'd lose a little bit of time and I'd say, oh, I can eat anytime, this is more important. Let me do this other thing and then I'll eat. I'll need to keep that in mind for the next time I have a whirlwind travel day. Anyway, never have I been so glad to be on such a short flight because I was about ready to tap out at this point. I woke up that morning at 6 a.m. on like 4 hours of sleep. I didn't eat until the end of the day. I was landing at 10 p.m. and then it was like an hour-and-a-half drive to my cousin Greg's house in Pyeongtaek. Believe me when I tell you that when I got to my bed that night, I was dead to the world until about 10 a.m. the next morning. Now, after traveling alone for a few days, staying with Greg, his wife, and 2 daughters was a huge breath of fresh air. And it probably goes without saying that from this point on, being hungry was a thing of the past. Greg also knew of a hidden spot that sold Pokemon cards, so we walked through some of the shops in Pyeongtaek to grab those before heading to one of my favorite parts of the trip, Korean barbecue.
Is that what you like it because it's not spicy?
So it's leaf, the Korean barbecue in the sauce, the Korean barbecue sauce, the rice, garlic. Did I miss anything?
No.
All right, good.
Now you fold it and eat it.
All right, I fold it and eat it.
Oh, it's one bite.
Oh.
You gotta pop it all in your mouth.
My dad said one day I could climb that.
Yeah, that one. You can climb that one too.
I can't climb that one.
I think you can. You can do it. You can do anything you want to do.
No, I can't. Because
Yeah, you
I'm not an adult yet.
Well, if you set your mind, you can achieve whatever you want.
This is
And even more
insane, actually.
Yeah.
After dropping the girls off back at home, Greg and I headed up to Seoul since we were going to stay the night in a hotel at the U.S. Army garrison. We were going to the Korean DMZ the next morning, and it made for an easier time getting to where the bus was picking us up. Plus, there was plenty of exploring for us to do downtown. Hello from Seoul.
It's smoky out.
It's a little bit hazy out. Actually, it's kind of a lot hazy out. Yeah, I haven't gotten to record a video since I got to Korea because I was falling asleep. We got a palace thing over here. That's where we're going right now. We're going to the palace.
No big deal.
No big deal. Just hanging out. My cousin Greg, for those of you who don't know, he's very cool. Very cool. It's very hip. Yeah, so I got in late and I was gonna pass out from being tired. I finally did get to eat last night after not eating all day, and now today all I have done is eat. Had some pretty nice pastries and whatnot at a coffee shop, and then we went to a Korean barbecue place, which I had been dying to do, just get Korean barbecue. And then this guy just kept putting more and more barbecue on my plate.
It's good food.
It was amazing. It was so good. Yeah, so now we're gonna go see the palace here. Oh, we got Pokemon cards too. That's right, we got that too. We're gonna see the palace, and we are staying in a hotel in Seoul so that we don't have to get up quite as early tomorrow to go to DMZ, to go actually into North Korea.
Just for like a quick 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think Alex would kill me.
No, it's fine. It's 5 minutes. Nobody will know.
Yeah, no, nobody would have a clue.
Nobody has any idea we're gonna go there. So.
Can you imagine? I think
This is your last video?
it might be my last video.
Could be.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we're gonna go to the palace now. We're gonna chill tonight in Seoul, and then we're going up to the DMZ tomorrow.
We're gonna be in the hot tub tonight.
In the hot tub, yes.
The boys in the hot water, steaming.
Yup. Well, we got to the palace right as it was closing, so instead we went to this public space downtown called Cheonggyecheon, a stream that cuts right through the middle of the city. It was one of my favorite public spaces I've ever found in the middle of a city. Plus, it was decorated for the Seoul Lantern Festival. I loved it. You are paddling like the Dickens swimming upstream. He's really chugging along. It'd be a lot easier for you to go the other way.
It's working out. It's like a treadmill for them.
Yeah. Oh, he's motoring. Look at him go.
Oh.
Oh.
That part. We got a bunch of ramen brands here.
I love these. This might be my favorite part of the whole river walk. After finishing our walk at Cheonggyecheon and with the darkness settling in, we walked through some of the more hip parts of the city, which were pretty much exactly what I expected Seoul to look and sound like. Yeah.
Free tequila shots.
Wow. That's what I need right now. One more Korean barbecue stop to close out the day, and then to sleep for an early wake-up. But first, I had to include this hilarious ad that was on US military TV at the hotel that night. Oh my god.
Yeah, they'll be like these dinosaurs. I'm trying to describe.
Alright, we are on the bus to North Korea. Well, not really. We're actually waiting for people to get on the bus before we go to the DMZ. But I figured this is a good idea, a good time to do a snack zone. We've got a couple of these snacks that Greg brought from home with us. I don't know what it says on the top, but almonds and crunky, which is fantastic.
Not to be mistaken with crunchy.
Not to be mistaken, it's a different thing. It's a totally different aesthetic. I'm going to try a crunky here in a second. I'll give it a little video break here. Okay, we got the crunky. It looks good. Looks like a Pocky stick with bumps on it. Greg,
It's great crunchy.
you cooked. You cooked, and it's definitely crunky. It's crunky. Outstanding. These are good. Our camera use was pretty restricted up at the DMZ, so we didn't get a ton of pictures or video. But even if we were allowed to video across the border, it wouldn't have mattered. The morning fog plus the terrible air quality combined for some of the worst visibility imaginable, and there was just no seeing across the border. Still, I was able to buy some smuggled North Korean money, which I didn't expect, and saw some pretty fascinating sights within the tour of the DMZ itself. There was also an interesting moment while we weren't allowed to point our cameras toward the border, where you could hear some of the South Korean propaganda music blasting across the border on the loudspeakers. So, all in all, it was definitely worth the visit. Our last stop was at a mall in Suwon where we had to pick up, you guessed it, a Korean Harry Potter book. And that just about wrapped up my stay in Korea. We went back to Greg's place that night, had some Korean fried chicken with the family, and then I packed up, got a good night's sleep, and woke up crazy early for my flight the next morning. Okay, well, I'm at Seoul, Incheon Airport, going to my next stop. Early morning, flight's in like an hour and 10 minutes or so. I've been waiting in line already for like 15-20 minutes, and like the security line is out of control. Now we're getting there, kind of, but this is nuts. This is nuts. This is taking a while. I'm glad I didn't have to check my bag or check in. I got my boarding pass via mobile when I checked in online. But if I had to check a bag, I don't think I'd be making this flight because I'm like not even out of the like departure hall right now. So we're working on it. Okay, that was way less bad than it seemed like it was going to be. That line was bananas, but they breezed us through there really quickly. It was really efficient. So that's good. Got a little bit of breathing time before I have to get to my gate. One of these. Can't really tell which one it is because it's in squiggly lines. But once I get there, I'm going to have about 7 hours of layover time in Tokyo at gate 129. About 7 hours or so in Tokyo. I'm going to do a little bit of shopping, some Pokemon shopping. And then, fortunately, I managed to get a non-stop flight the other day in business class from Tokyo to Boston. So that's going to be a lot nicer than having the stop that I originally had. So I'm going to get on this little shuttle train that's pulling up here in a second and get on a plane to Tokyo. And I'm almost home, kind of, not really. It's Wednesday morning and I get home Wednesday night. But with the international date line, it's really 2 full days of traveling, so something like that. We're getting there. We're getting there. All right, made it to Narita Airport, chugging right along. I'm gonna be far and away the first person immigration on this flight. So hopefully there's no line there and I can get right out. Lost about an hour because of the smog back at Seoul. They were delaying departures a little bit, but my flight I'm taking tonight is about an hour later than I originally planned. So it's about kind of a wash. So right now, getting the immigration as quick as I can. Gonna go check my bag in for my next flight back home to Boston. Gonna go do some Pokemon Center shopping, and then I'm gonna see if I can get downtown, get some ramen or something, maybe do a little more shopping, and then get back here in time to go to the lounge and relax for a little bit. I did make one quick side trip first. Narita's airport shuttle bus stopped at this little used subway station, which occupies a spot in Jet Lag the Game YouTuber lore. It's a hide-and-seek location from Season 12 where one of the guys was found thanks to an incredible stroke of bad luck. So, of course, I had to make an unplanned visit for a quick photo op. I then went looking for the airport Pokemon Center shop, and, uh-oh. Okay, so very disappointed to report that there's actually no Pokemon Center in Narita Airport right now, and only for like 2 weeks because they're renovating it. which is really disappointing because I was really hoping to get one of the Narita Airport Pilot Pikachu plushes for Alex, but really for me. So that's really upsetting. I think I'm just going to go downtown to Tokyo Station where they have a Pokemon Center. I know they don't have the Pilot Pikachu there, at least not the Narita one. But, I mean, they have, I think, a trained Pikachu. I might get one of those just for the fun of it. But I'm definitely just going to get at least some Pokemon cards, too. So we at least have a plan for that. See if I can find a Robin place after that. And then, if I have time, stop into one of the department stores. Otherwise, just gonna head back to Narita Airport to head out later. I absolutely have no idea what the deal is with these like ropes things. They seem to somehow retract when the train pulls up, but I have absolutely no idea how this is supposed to work because they're like all connected. So we're about to find out exactly how this works together. It's gonna be exciting. Unless I'm just straight up, oh, wow. Oh, that's magical. All right, Tokyo Station. Went to the Pokemon store in there. They did have the trained Pikachu, so that was good. They had Pokemon cards, of course, so that was good. They did not have the other things that Alex had on her wish list, which was surprising. One of the things she had was a small Pokemon, an owl, which is a pretty popular Pokemon, in a particular like line of the Pokemon plushes. And they had an entire wall of like 50 of them, and he wasn't there. So I couldn't believe that. But there's another Pokemon Center, a bigger store, that's about it says 13 minutes, but it'll be 10 minutes walk away. So I'm gonna go there, and hopefully I can get something on Alex's wish list before I go home. And then hopefully there's a ramen place over there too, because I only have like an hour and 20 minutes before I gotta get the train back from Tokyo Station. Okay, big disappointment. Everything Alex wanted was sold out. The Pokemon Center I went to was really big, and they had pretty much everything you could think of, and everything was sold out. So that's too bad. She had a few things on the list. She did give me the list a little while ago, so it might be that the items that were being sold are now just not being sold anymore. I know they kind of go through stuff pretty quick at the Pokemon Center. But that's too bad. So now, getting back on the Narita Express so I can get back to the airport as quick as I can, because Tokyo Station is a maze. It's just huge, and I know if I have to get a specific train, I'm going to possibly miss it. And then I'm just kind of running on a tight schedule here. So once I get to Narita, I should have like 2 full hours before my flight. I'll be able to eat there for sure, get something good, ramen specifically. And yeah, too bad I couldn't get what Alex wanted, but I'm coming home with like 30 packs of Pokemon cards. So I think we'll both be pretty happy with that. Well, I didn't quite get back to the airport in time to get ramen. That was disappointing, and again, an example of my putting off eating in favor of doing other things. But I did have time to get into the Japan Airlines lounge and get something to eat there before bouncing over to the gate. Alright folks, let's wrap up this party. We are going home. I was originally going to have a layover in San Francisco on this flight, but caught a lucky break with a cheap business class award ticket opening up on the nonstop to Boston just a couple days earlier. Japan Airlines business class was the best I've ever flown on, and that includes the awesome Emirates flight I had just this week. The food was just insane. A full multi-course meal of Japanese cuisine, all of which was totally different from what I've ever eaten before, but so good that I ate every bit of it. But it was the service that was what was really second to none. The flight attendants were checking in on whether I needed anything constantly. It was just an unbelievable flight, and I got a great night's sleep afterward too. Made it to Boston. And now I'm going to the train station, take a train back home. And I should have plenty of time to catch it. Got like an hour on the nose. Should take me like a half hour on the Silver Line. Yeah, Alex picking me up in Old Saybrook, and that'll be the very end of the trip. Can't wait to see Alex. It's been way too long since I've gotten to see Alex. Got here in time. Train still says it's on time. I got a message saying it might not be, but we'll see about that. And should be able to get back to Old Saybrook soon. There wasn't too long of a delay with the train, and after a short wait, I was on my way and finally headed home. Alex was there to pick me up in Old Saybrook, and my circumnavigation was in the books. I learned a lot about what worked and what didn't over the course of the week. I learned that this would have been really tough to enjoy without the business class flights. I learned that I really needed to make sure to prioritize eating. And I learned that while 24 hours was a fun whirlwind day, I really needed probably twice that to really fully enjoy each place I visited. I don't think I'll need to do such a wild trip again anytime soon, but hey, who knows? You never know just how the travel bug will bite you.